an open offer to the militia. Anonymous and the American militia should unite. The Second Amendment of the United States Constitution reads, "A well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be violated." One militant is dead and 7 are in custody after state and federal officials moved to arrest the leaders of the anti-government group behind the takeover of the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge. Ammon Bundy and his followers seized the Harney County Wildlife Refuge on January 2, 2016, insisting they wouldn't leave until 2 local ranchers were released from federal prison and other demands were met. This is what people do not know. The United Nations gun grab called Hillary Clinton at iansa, the United Nations Global Movement Against Gun Violence, an international network of organizations and individuals dedicated to reducing the proliferation of small arms around the world. We have a message for the United Nations. We are anonymous. We do not forget. We do not forgive. Expect us.
Thank you, Ammon. My name is Chris Briles. I've lived here in Harney County since 1978. I joined the Burns Volunteer Fire Department in 1979. I took over as the fire chief and was over the ambulance for 24 years, well, until the ambulance moved to the hospital. I have been a servant of this community since the day I stepped on its soil. We've been trying to do anything and everything that we can do as the Committee of Safety to mitigate this situation, to de-escalate this situation. I want these people to be able to go home to their families. I want the law enforcement to go home to their families. I want to figure out what it is that we can do as citizens of the United States of America to retain our rights.
Yes, sir.
Steve Grasty told me my perception was wrong. I asked him for a piece of paper. I have been the county fire chief here since 1984. I have served, I have worked with the Bundys, with the Hammonds. I've worked with ranchers all over this community to help with fire prevention, to help with controlled burns, to do what I can to help my fellow man. I took a piece of paper and I wrote down the date and I said, I, Chris Allen Briles, do hereby resign my position as the Harney County Fire Chief. Okay? Does that mean when you quit, who do you quit? That might say that I just quit this county. I did not just quit this county, but I will not work for a government or a person that I do not believe in and have faith in. Or,
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I will not work for somebody that I don't trust.
Hell no.
I will stand before you and tell you the truth. Do not ever ask me a question if you don't want the answer. I've been told by Steve to distance myself from this Committee of Safety. I've been told that we don't know what we're doing. I've been told that my life is in danger. I've been told all kinds of things. I will not be told what to do. I have my own mind, and I will use my own mind, not somebody else's. And I feel that the people in this county, in this state, in this United States, have the right to free speech and the right to assemble and the right to figure out if there's a problem, what can be done about it. I have not quit this community. I have not quit this county. If there's a rancher out there anywhere that needs my services for anything, if they can use any of my skills and expertise to help them for fire prevention or anything, my door is still open. But I stand before you as someone that has been tried to be intimidated in many, many ways. The other day, a friend of mine poked me in the chest and said, you need to find out what your cohorts are doing at the armory. Twice They'd been turned into the police. And I thought, my gosh. So I followed the people, and I stopped them, or I followed them until they stopped, and I got out and I asked them who they were. They were dishonest with me. They would not tell me what they were doing. I asked them what they were doing in our armory, what they were doing. Well, we're just two guys going through town looking for a place to have a business. And I said, sir, typically you don't have a business in an armory. Then they said, well, we weren't even at the armory. And I said, I followed you from the armory. Then they said, well, yeah, we were at the armory, but really we were looking at the deer. There's a big shooter 4-point in there. I'm not sure how often you shoot deer in an armory, but I asked them to please be truthful with me because I was trying to be truthful with them, and that there's too much fear in our community. Push comes to shove, let's just kind of get down to the end of it. I pursued information. I took a picture of their vehicle. I was not allowed to see our county sheriff. I went up to ask to speak to him. I was told no, I couldn't. They ran the license plate. It came back to undercover FBI agents. Mr. Grasty told me today that I'm the one that's causing the fear, that I have no right to question anybody about what anybody's doing at our armory, and that I have no right to follow anybody and question anybody, that I'm the one that's causing fear. I stand before you and I ask you, what do you think? Do I have the right to talk to another human being?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Do I have a right to ask what's going on in my community?
Yes, you do.
This is absolutely appalling to me. I've had my life has turned completely upside down and inside out since I've been involved in this committee. I have no personal life anymore, ever. I've been told, why don't you distance yourself from it? Why don't you run? I was born in Denver, Colorado. The only place they have ostriches is at the zoo. I never learned to stick my head in the sand, and I stand before you right now. I will not stick my head in the sand, and anytime anybody has any questions of me, here I am. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Joe Biggs here with Infowars.com. We are in Burns, Oregon. We arrived here Sunday evening to film and to find out what is going on with the Bundy standoff at the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge. Today we woke up to reports that came out from the Guardian saying that federal agencies, including the FBI, said that they would be shutting off the power to the wildlife refuge, where Bundy and militia are standing their ground against what they say are a tyrannical government running rampant, taking away people's lands and destroying ranchers' lives. Now they also say that there's a possibility that they could shut off cell phone communication, as well as set up a blockade on the one road that goes through that area. Now we do know that the sheriff does not want the presence of Bundy and the militia in the town, and many of the people that live in this area feel the same. This is something that is true or not, but they've also been given intel. They say that there are 5 warrants out for their arrest. One of the guys even took that so seriously as to walk outside of the compound, sit down in a chair with his rifle, take some sleeping bags, and he said he was going to sit up there and hold his ground until they come out and arrest him. These guys do not want to fire first. They do not want a civil war. They do not want any type of action that could lead to the deaths of people. They care about their militiamen. They care about the people in this county. They care about the cause. So they said they will not make a move unless the FBI makes a move, and they will do that in response, only as self-defense. So hopefully cooler heads will prevail here in Oregon. Once again, I'm Joe Biggs reporting from the Burns High School for Infowars.com.
Could you define for us what this means to you personally?
To me, it's about my children being able to grow up in a free country. National Rifle Association came out swinging, defiant, paranoid, and utterly tone deaf.
The National Rifle Association has been getting a lot of flack lately for advocating more armed guards in schools.
He should be ashamed of himself.
The media speaks for elites. America speaks for itself.
Should we have an armed guard at every school in the country? That's what the NRA believes. They told me last week that that could work.
You know, I am skeptical that the only answer is putting more guns in schools.
Armed guards good enough for David Gregory's kids' school, not for the rest of us. School Obama's daughters attend has 11 armed guards.
America is surrendering its sovereignty to a world government. Hooray! World government is coming. Deal with it.
Robert Wright, senior editor of the New Republic, writes that much power now vested in the nation-state is starting to migrate to international institutions. World government, he claims,
It's probably in the cards. And what's more, it's a good idea.
often those working for world government present themselves not as advocates, but as mere analysts of inevitable natural trends. By casting the steps toward world government in a favorable light, they prepare the public to accept what lies ahead.